great deal has taken place during this particular month. In the book of Ezra, by way of introduction, the nation was crippled for almost 2 decades. They had a vision. They had a mandate from God. They had a desire and they had a destiny. They had a purpose. They had a goal. It was something they really wanted. But for almost 20 years, they were stalled, stopped completely. And nothing that they could do could propel them one step ahead. They were simply denied what their hearts and God wanted for them. It's an unusual story because it's such a pattern for us to observe. And God allowed it, believe it or not, so that we could look back and study it and learn from it. The solution, and they tried everything, but there was one God-given solution that He was waiting for them to implement. And for whatever reason, discouragement, despondency, distraction, they just couldn't click in and do what they were supposed to do, to get themselves their relief, to bring themselves their prosperity, to break open the resistance, and finally walk straight through to what rightfully belonged to them. It's truly an amazing moment in the Bible, and I really mean that. It's so instructive. It's a demarcation line. You know, it's a revelation to learn from that can be implemented in a person's life. I believe that the month of September is that. It's exactly that. It's reflecting what took place then. And it's just a do-over. These people, knowing, never implemented their strategy. They couldn't put it, they couldn't do it. Either they didn't believe or too down and out. And that strategy was a simple one. It was the same thing that God implemented when He needed change. And that is, He began to speak properly. And I mean that. It's such a common refrain that we hear it, but it doesn't jolt us. It's like thinking about the cross. It should stagger us, but we know it, we know the value of it, but then we go on with life. So prophets had to come along and begin to prophesy. They begin to say things that lined up with the Word of God. Instead of, saying, oh, I have bad luck, that's not the Word of God. They would say, I don't care what I see. God loves me, and He wants me to prosper. I don't care if I don't feel well or if I have a problem with my hand or elbow or body. My God died for me to heal me, and therefore I am healed. They fought against the reality of this natural life, understanding there was something far infinitely greater, and that is that they could speak like God and create what was absent and missing, that they could actually come in the form of the body of Christ and replicate what Jesus did and begin to speak in line with God, irrespective of what the circumstances said. God's voice is louder than the voice of the circumstances. God speaks bigger than the circumstances. But it took faith, and the nation didn't have it. So there they are, absolutely void of their blessing. Decades, coulda, shoulda, and they didn't. They just weren't strong enough to look past the rubble, to look past the difficulties. So God finally, in act of mercy, comes along and has prophets come, and they begin to speak, Haggai and Ezra, and they begin to talk and say, wait a minute, you are a great people. You are the nation of Israel. You are God's Jerusalem, the nation of peace. You will succeed. You can do this. And mysteriously, miraculously, listen to history, because this is also in the history books. Out of nowhere, the spurring of an attitude, a can-do, modern vernacular, I can have positive thinking. I really can make my tomorrow much different than my today. I just have to line up with what God says. And they did. And history shows that immediately the resolve came and miracles began to take place. What they could have had 20 years before, but at least it finally showed up. You are indeed a great people, but you will prosper the way God has designed for you to prosper. You will bring along your success and your destiny exactly by the method that God chose. Anything else is strange fire, and God is not going to respect it or receive it. No more than he received Cain's offering and said, what is that? There's a way to do this. Do it right or I won't accept it. And somehow or another, Christianity has become, cavalier. Oh, it's not so strict. We don't have to do it that way. Okay. And we don't. And we miss out on all the dreams that God had for us, all the blessings that are in store for you. Every bit that you think you've lost, God has stored up. He restores the year of the locust. And if you think because of bad behavior or for what I just described, ambivalence, or you just can't see past your circumstances, there comes a point in time where God says, I'm going to do it for you. And it's a jubilee mentality. Enough with your suffering. And he allows something like the month of September to come along, where a prophetic word takes place, more powerful than your circumstances, far greater than what you think you're facing. A release of your debts. A release of silly decisions that have put you in a quagmire that you don't think you can get out. You can get out. You're gonna get out, because today is still September, and somebody's gonna have faith and say, you know what? This month is not over. I can still have what I want. Make a decision. My God, get rid of all the garbage thinking, please, and make a decision. I believe in the faithfulness of Jesus Christ. I believe in the God who died for me. I will absolutely receive everything that he has for me. I don't care what I see. I'm going to get a miracle. And God's going to do something he's never done before. He's going to do a new thing in my life. And you will experience the greatness of the fatherhood of God. He's waiting. In the Bible is a critical moment in the New Testament. The apostles come to Jesus and they say, teach us how to pray. Teach us to pray. And then he gives us the wonderful example of the Our Father. But he gave us far more than just that. He then goes into the silly little stories that everybody knows. But for whatever reason, we don't apply it. Same teaching all over again. Because, but wait a second. Try to get to how prayer works. And he says, think of it this way. Think of it this way, that it's the middle of the night. The house is retired. The dad is exhausted from a long day of work. And all of a sudden, he hears a knock at the door in the middle of the night. And it's his neighbor, Silly John, Peculiar John. And he's knocking on the door and he goes, John, my God, what do you want? It's the middle of the night. I have a couple of friends that visited me and I don't have any food. Can I have some bread? This is how Jesus is teaching them how to pray. And the guy goes, you want what in the middle of the night? The absurdity of the request? Go away. And the guy won't go away. There's the lesson. Go away. No, your request is absurd. The time is ridiculous. Tell your friends you'll cook them breakfast in the morning and go to sleep. So logical. The answer seems perfect. I know how I would react. I'd say, you come back here one more time, I'm calling the cops. But God is using this silly example to amplify a thought. The guy keeps knocking. And God is saying, urging us, keep praying. Keep asking. You know what he means by that? He's telling you, the minute you pray, I'm going to say no. Do you hear that? What he's saying is, I'm not a vending machine. I want to see how much faith you have. I'm telling you up front. I want to see how resolute you are. I'm telling you up front. teach me how to pray. Okay, I will. You're going to have to pray a couple of times for that, because I'm going to resist you at first. Why is that? Because I want to see if you really believe in me. I think our Creator that gave us life, that gave us a sentient being, has the right to see if we love Him. I think He has the right to see if we trust Him. I think I as a father, or you as a mother, I think we have the right to say, wait, Billy, before you do that, let me see if I could trust you. Take care of your studies, your room, before we loosen the cars and the condo. Wait a minute. Let me see if you're capable of handling that bet. Let me see if I could trust you. I have a right to know that you love me and respect me and trust me. I have a right as a father to know that. It's good for my children to know they have to show me that. That's a good thing. It makes character and strength. Why is God teach us to pray? I will. And that guy has to keep knocking at that door. And when I see that he's persistent, and this isn't a flippant fling, when I see he's sincere, and he's going to keep coming back to me, and he's not going to say, you know what, this doesn't work, I'm going to the bakery, get out of here. When I see you won't turn your back on me. Because even if I say no, you're still going to love me. Even if I say no, you're still going to serve me. I need to see that. I need to see you really care about me. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to resist you a wee bit. But keep on knocking. Because if you keep on knocking, one day that door is going to open. And then he actually goes on to say in another story with the unjust judge, it seems like he says, I'll resist you, but I can't resist you. I'll answer you as long as I know you love me and you're serious with me. Wow, teach us to pray, sure. Be persistent. Stop thinking that God said no. He didn't say no. He just says, I want to see what you're made of. He said yes, but I want to see that you really are made of love for me. I want to see it. So that's why we have stories in the Bible where Elijah sends a servant to pray to see if there's a cloud. There's no cloud. There is no cloud in the 100-degree sky in a parched desert land where there's been no rain for 3 years. Cloud is no cloud. Go again. And again and again. And the answer is no repeatedly. The answer is no, no cloud. No, no cloud. After a half a day of walking up a mountain and coming back down, you'd think somebody would be discouraged. There's that same principle again. Why did he not say yes to the cloud instantly? What's the reason for 7 delays? It's God's not saying no. He just wants to see what you made him. The answer is yes. But you got to struggle for it a little bit. You got to show a little bit of backbone. My God, we work 40, 50, 60 hours a week for a paycheck. We can't pray for an hour to get a miracle. We can't say, I'm not getting up till you give me my miracle. But we'll take trains in the summer. We'll take trains in the blizzard. We'll get in a forest of rain, 100 degrees or 20 below. We'll take a bus, a train, the LIE for 2 hours, go to work with a stinking boss for 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, maybe get a second job, but we won't pray for 1 hour? Oh, come on. Teach me how to pray. Okay, I will. Be persistent. Don't give up. I did say yes. Now work for it and let me see that you can get this. Let me see you'll fight for your blessing. Let me see that you have a backbone and you believe in my son. And believe this, when you ask in the name of my son, I said yes, but I want to see that you mean it. So we have a lady who has a sick daughter. God insults her, sends her away. The apostles hate her. They send her away. And she won't give up. No. I want my blessing. Even if you insult me, I'm not getting offended. Even if your apostles hate me, I'm not moving. Even I have a need, I came to you. Even if I don't deserve it, and I'm from none of your kind, and I'm from another nation, and I'm from the other side of the railroad, and I'm not you. I'm not perfect. I'm bad. But I have my daughter, and I'm not budging till you give me my yes. Again, same principle. Why didn't he say yes immediately? Why is there this always delay? Why is every woman matriarch in the Bible, every single woman matriarch in the Bible, barren for a long season? Every single one was sterile. Why? Same reason. God's trying to show us something. Why did they have to go around the walls for 7 days? 13 times. 12 failures. You realize what kind of murmuring would be complained? Do you have any idea millions of people walking around in a circle, 100-degree heat, and nothing happens? No miracle. You're a fraud. You're fake. Joshua, you're out of your mind. Nothing is going on. Why didn't they just knock the wall down first time? Why? Why did the poor general have to dip himself, humiliate himself, get naked in front of everybody in his old retinue of generals and soldiers, and like a fool show his leprosy all over his body? Instead of being covered, he had to expose everything and show everybody what a disgusting sinner I am. And he goes down and comes up, nothing. Can you imagine the snickering and the laughing? Look at this idiot. Look at what he's doing. God, he's making a fool of himself. And again, and again, and again. Why wasn't yes the first time? Why? But can you imagine the 7th time? Everybody expecting the fool to come up a leper. And instead he comes up and he looks like Tom Brady. All of a sudden, he's perfect. The elegance of his muscular stature is back again. Why wasn't it the first time? Teach us to pray. Okay, I will. Show me you believe in me. I'm gonna just put the pause button. The computer's gonna freeze for a minute. You don't go throw it out, you reboot it. A lot of us just need that, a new start in our faith. Stop looking at your circumstances, thinking he said no. He didn't say no. He said yes. Now all we have to do is be steadfast and say, I'm not moving. I'm not budging. I'm believing. I know you said yes. And I know we're in this tug-of-war game because you want to see that I believe. So I'm telling you right now, up front, I believe. And I'm going to believe till you do it because I know you did. And you just want to see this. You want to see this power. You want to see this determination. I'm giving it to you in the name of Jesus. So you might as well do it now because we're here, lockstep, arm in arm. I'm not budging. Nothing is going to move me. I don't care if you don't answer me tomorrow. I don't care if you don't answer me next week. I don't care you don't answer me next month. I'm not moving. I got what I want, and I want what I got. We're in this together, so you might as well get it over quick, because I'm not budging. Teach me how to pray. God just did.